Hello folks, this is Mike. Welcome to my channel. Now, do you have a television like this one at home? This is in our master bedroom, and this is as close as we can get it to the wall. But you can see all this dead space behind it. You can see cabling. You can see the frame members. My decorator conscious wife really just hates this. So today we're going to rehang the television here behind us on the wall, and we're going to use this. Now, this is a VideoSecure ML20B mounting bracket. And with this bracket, we're going to be able to mount this television only 1/2 inch from the wall. And not only that, the bracket is inexpensive. It's only $10 or $12, and it's a very easy install. So even if you're inexperienced and tool challenged, you can do this. It only takes simple hand tools and a power drill. And we're going to take you through it step by step. So stay tuned, and we're going to show you how. Now, before you buy the bracket, there's a couple of things to consider. First, it's a stationary bracket, which means you can't move it around on the wall. Second is the TV itself. The one we're using is a Spectre 32-inch LED HD TV with all the connections either on the bottom facing the floor or on the side. Now, this makes it a perfect match for this bracket. If you have an existing TV that you want to use with rear-facing connectors, remember, your wiring is going to stick out maybe 2 to 3 inches from the back of the television. The bracket's only a 1/2 inch thick, so that's just not possible. And you may want to consider a different bracket, unless you have enough connections on the side of your TV to do the job. Also, you may want to consider some of the cabling and adapters on the market now that have 90-degree heads. This may allow you to get the TV close enough to the wall to do the job. But for your convenience, we're going to put a link in our video description for both the bracket and the Spectre TV. And in case you're wondering, these are paid links, so we would get a small commission. So let's take a look at what comes in the box. First, you get the bracket itself, and you'll notice there's 2 parts to this bracket that interlock. The part with the curled over flange fits against the wall. The part with this irregular flange that protrudes out goes on the back of the television. These 2 long stout screws are to mount your bracket in a wall stud. But if you don't have a wall stud, you can use hollow wall anchors, and they provided you a couple here. There's 4 different bolt sizes, 4 each, and these are mounting bolts for the back of your television. And then you have these 2 lone screws, and you'll wonder, why didn't they give me the other 2 screws with these like they did with these others? Well, there's a reason for that. On the bottom of your bracket are these little flanges, see? You can insert those 2 bolts, screw them in here, and it'll lock your bracket in place once your TV's on the wall. Before getting online and ordering this bracket, be sure to measure the distance between the mounting bolts on the back of your TV. We have a 4-inch by 4-inch pattern here, so the bracket will work with this TV. Before we start trying to mount the plate on the back of the television, let's take a close-up look at it. All of these are mounting holes. These on the outside are your 100 by 100 millimeter pattern, which translates to 4-inch by 4-inch, which is what we have on this Spectre television. These holes are your 75 by 75 millimeter pattern, or 3-inch by 3-inch. Most TVs under 40 inches are going to have one of these patterns. To install the plate on the back of the TV, first find the correct fitting screws and washers in your kit, and install just the top 2 screws in the bracket, but don't over tighten. Leave them a tad loose. Now set a level on top of your TV and make sure it's level. When that's done, we need to do the same thing to the bracket itself. Now when you get the bubble in the middle, go ahead and tighten down the top 2 screws. And then go ahead and install the rest of your fasteners. So here I'm using a stud finder to find the closest stud to my mounting location. So push in the button, activate the finder, and slide it across the wall slowly until it finds the stud, and I'll make a mark there. Remember that this will light up when it reaches the edge of the stud, not the center, so it's necessary to repeat the process coming from the other direction. The center of the stud will be between these 2 results. To accurately determine where to hang the wall bracket, first we're going to need to take a measurement on the back of the TV. Now I'm going to measure the distance from this bottom mounting hole to the bottom of my television, which is 7 1/4 inches in my case. Now I've decided that I want the bottom of the TV to be 6 inches above this file cabinet. So I'll need to add the 6 inches there to the 7 1/4 inches from the back of the television, which totals 13 1/4 inches. And I'm going to make a mark in the center of the stud at that level. Now use a 5/32 inch drill bit to tap a pilot hole in the wall where you made your mark. You should be able to feel the resistance as the bit travels through the stud. Now position the plate with the 2 locking ears facing down. The bottom mounting hole should be placed over the pilot hole you just made. Now run in the provided wood screw, but leave it slightly loose. So put your level on top of the bracket and remember that the little window faces up. And I'm not sure if I explained this before, but the reason we want both brackets level is that because when you install it, if they're not level, there will be a noticeable tilt in the TV on the wall. So when you've got it level, mark the location, drill a pilot hole as before, and now you can drive in your screw. I'll leave it slightly loose though, and double check with your level before tightening. Now the TV is ready to hang on the wall, but first let's take a look at how we use those hollow wall anchors. I've already measured and found the position for the wall bracket, and this time I'm going to use the top mounting hole, and I'm going to mark that. Now I'm going to use a 1/4 inch drill bit to drill a pilot hole for the supplied anchors. I gently tap them in the wall until it's flush. Now here's where things went south. I guess I used a bit too much pressure when I was trying to run in my screw, and I pushed the anchor through the wall. So now I'm an anchor short. So I decided to use a different type of anchor. Now these are the toggler type, and they have a flange on the front so they'll stay put. They require a 3/8 inch hole. Now pinch the end of the anchor closed and insert that into the hole and tap it till it seats. And I'm using the screws that came with the anchors and have added a washer. And this time there's no problem. Now level the bracket and mark the bottom hole. Move the bracket out of the way and drill it out. And then insert your anchor. Run in your screw, but level the bracket again before you tighten. I like to use a hand screwdriver to finish up to avoid over tightening. So this will be more than strong enough to hold this TV. Each one of these anchors is rated at 60 pounds max. And you can find these at big box lumber yards under brand names like Pop Toggle or Toggler brand. It's time to put the TV on the wall now, but first I'm going to remove these pencil marks with a little denatured alcohol. Be sure to install your connecting cards before you slide the TV on the bracket. I'm just using 2 HDMI cards on this one. I'm going to lift the TV above the wall bracket and let it drop slowly, bit by bit, until the 2 halves can dock. Make sure you have it firmly in the wall bracket on both sides. Now I can route the wiring through the wall channel, and then I can hook up my components. And then we're done. So here's a side view of the TV, and you'll notice we have less than an inch. Actually, this is about 3/8 of an inch from the wall. And the 3/8 of an inch is due mainly because there's a tilt to the TV. I hope you can see that in the video. And that's because that's built into the mounting pad. It has nothing to do with the bracket. But it does improve the viewing experience in the room when if you have a TV mounted high on the wall like this. That little tilt helps you see better, especially when you're sitting on a sofa or whatever. So now that we're done, you can see what an attractive installation this really is, especially when you use a wall channel. You don't have all those wires hanging down the wall. This is a great organizer, and these are available at building centers, home centers, and online. And you can get them in several different widths. So we're done now. We've got it on the wall, and I'm happy, and my wife's happy. So it's a win-win situation. So I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I hope you've gotten something from it. And if so, please go below and like our video, subscribe to our channel, and ring that bell. And comments and questions and pictures of your project are both encouraged and appreciated. And folks, until next time, thanks for watching.